Do you love me? Do you need me?
What's up, peoples? So today's a different kind of ride. It's Sunday, June 19th, Father's Day, and I tried to get out for a little cruise on Father's Day for a different type of reason. I mean, I spent some time with the girls today. We just kind of hung around the house, didn't really do much, just kind of relaxed. We didn't have to do anything crazy. First time I really got out of the house today. Not a lot of people, I mean, some people know, some locals know, some of my local friends know kind of what Father's Day is for me, but I'll kind of get to explaining that here soon. By the time this video drops, I'm sure it's going to be the day after or super late Sunday night. But to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day, and to everybody else, I hope you had a good Father's Day with family or friends or whatever you did today. So I hope this is recording, because I really don't want to do this twice. It may sound like it's a little hard for me to explain this, but it's really not. I've kind of come to terms with it. I've been riding motorcycles. I started riding motorcycles when I was 13. I bought my first dirt bike from one of my uncles, one of my mom's brothers, and I started riding at the age of 13. Started riding motorcycles. I had what I thought was a 1980 KLX 250. Was actually, and it ended up being a 79. I started riding at the age of 13, riding around, you know, killing people's yards with my dirt bike, with friends and whatever. And that kind of escalated to I sold that bike. I rode it for a little while, sold it, didn't really know much about it, really kind of learned how to ride with it, futzed around with it, sold it, and at the age of, man, when did I get that other Honda? I want to say, man, how old was I can't remember, 17? Maybe I was 17, maybe I was 16. Someone that my grandfather was friends with, kind of working with, gave me a 1978 Honda CX500. It was actually in mint shape, but notorious with those bikes. The stator goes, and in order for the stator to get replaced, you have to drop the motor, because the motor is literally turned sideways, cylinders stick out the sides, and the stator's at the back of the motor. I didn't know anything about it. I kind of rode it for a little while, killed the battery a shit ton of times, sold it, and that kind of, you know, got my blood running. I rode dirt bikes for a while, and you know, had a bunch of quads with my friends, and we did whatever, you know, we just had fun riding off road. It just kind of stuck with me. You know. My dad told me when he was younger, he had motorcycles, and he built a Harley in his bedroom, an actual chopper, man, back in probably the 70s. Late 60s, early 70s. I don't know the specific year, but I know he was pretty young. And he built a legitimate chopper in his bedroom, and he got it out of the house through his bedroom window in pieces. And just reassembled it in the backyard, from what I was told. So that kind of, like, I'm not going to say it stuck with me, but I never forgot it, you know. But, you know, people in my family were into motorcycles. My dad was, my Uncle Roy was, I knew my Uncle Ray was, you know, because, you know, he talked about it and had, you know, stuff. They always talked about having toys when they were younger. And my dad's brother, Frank, because he had motorcycles too, like everybody had bikes. You know, not all at the same time. You know, when I was growing up, only my Uncle Roy had one. He had a pretty badass, it was a Shadow 1100, Honda Shadow 1100. That bike was pretty sweet. But, it got to the point where, you know, I was getting older, I was 18 years old. I was supposed to put my Honda, that CX500 on the road. I was supposed to put it on the road on a Thursday. And I know this specifically. I can't remember the date. I just know it was middle of July. I want to say it was the 16th. And I was really looking forward to that, you know. I told my uncle, I told my mom. Of course, mom's a little bit worried, but whatever. You know, she knew I was on motorcycles, dirt bikes and stuff. I used to ride my uncle's Shadow 1100 around the backyard. My grandparents' house, where it was nice and flat, just because I liked riding it and I couldn't ride it on the damn road. But you know, everybody was, you know, that I knew that was pretty excited about it. You know, another guy in the family with a motorcycle, and I was dating this girl for a few months, and we went over her aunt's house. I was supposed to go swimming over there one day, and it was, at the time, it was me and my girlfriend, her mom, her brother, sister, and her stepdad. And as soon as we got there, I want to say we were there maybe what it felt like maybe 20 minutes. Now mind you, I had never been to this house before. I don't even think I'd ever met this aunt and uncle before. And within, I want to say 20-25 minutes of us being there, I got a phone call. And they said, yeah, no, he's here. And I'm like, what? And they're like, Joe, the phone's for you. And I'm like, what? My girlfriend looks at me, she's like, what? She's like, yeah, Joe, the phone's for you. It's your mom. And I'm like, okay, what did I do now? I pick up the phone. I said, yeah, I don't even know how you got this phone number. She's like, where are you? I said, I'm over at so-and-so's aunt and uncle's house. We're getting ready to go swimming. She's like, okay, I have to pick you up. I'm like, why? She's like, your dad was in an accident. Okay. Is he okay? She's like, I need to pick you up. He's at the hospital right now. I'm like, all right. We exchange the address and whatever. She picks me up, a few minutes, and we'd be lined to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. I said, what happened? She's like, he was on his motorcycle and he got in a motorcycle accident. I'm like, okay, is he all right? She's like, I don't know, but I don't think it's good. And I'm like, I'm the type of person to not believe things until I see it. You know, I'm a realist. I like, you know, I don't believe anything until I see it from my own eyes. Whatever, okay. So this was about 4:30. It was about 4:30, 5 o'clock maybe. It had to have been. So she picks me up. We go to the hospital. My family's in the waiting room, whatever. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait. We waited 4 hours. Nothing. And the doctor comes in after, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, however long it was. And he said, he's out of surgery. He is stable right now. He's on his way up to his room. If you want to go up to his room, you can meet him there. We're like, sweet. So immediate family. Me, my mom. My parents have been divorced since I was a baby, literally a baby. So it was me and my mom, my stepmother, my 2 stepbrothers, their girlfriends, wives, whatever. And once we get to the top floor, we get out of the elevator and the doctors, you know, say, okay, come with us. And we get pulled into a room. We're like, okay, well, you know, where is he? We want to see him. And they say that he passed away in the elevator. And I instantly kind of lost my mind. So I lost my dad to a motorcycle accident when I was 18 years old. Sorry if I break up. I don't usually do this. And tell you exactly what happened here in a second, because I try to come out here once a year. Sometimes I don't make it for one reason or another. My father got hit right here. And sometimes I like to come here and just, you know, sit, hang out for a second. But right where that car is and right where this truck is turning, this little SUV is turning right now. Let me see if I can find it. I hope they didn't take this thing down. I'll be so upset. Okay. So what had happened was, and I remember this, and I know this was my dad's route, and I wouldn't think he'd be anywhere else. On Father's Day, which is today, 1998, was the first time that I rode on the street legally with a permit. It was the first time I had ridden with my father ever. I looked forward to it for a long time, and it was the last day that I saw him alive. And 1 month later he passed away. So he was coming down this road, Route 19 in Brockport, and I know exactly where he went because I can tell you the route that we went, and I know he was pretty regular, I'll say regular, repetitive on things that he did, restaurants that he went to, roads that he took. But he was coming down this road. They said he was doing 50. I don't believe it. And because of either that bush or that tree or something, maybe it wasn't even for that reason, he was coming down this road. There was a lady coming out of this road that had just picked up her daughter from the babysitters, and she blew that stop sign, and my dad hit her right here. He hit her so hard, the front end tucked underneath the bike, the gas tank was against the fender of the car, and the back wheel stayed in the air, and it stayed like that, which sent him, they said, about 60 feet. And from what I understand, he broke his leg, and because of the initial impact, he had an internal abdominal wound that opened up the capillaries in and around your abdomen, which your capillaries are super small. They give you blood flow, and they couldn't close them, so he initially just bled out. But this is where my dad was hit. And that summer, put a plaque up. I'm glad it's still here. Yep. In loving memory of Joseph Edward Doty, August 1st, 1953, to July 14th, 1998. It's an old wreath from a long time ago. So we put this plaque here for him. It's really starting to grow in. I really want to leave like something on this tree saying if this tree were to ever get taken down, to please contact me, because I really want it. There's more housing developments going up everywhere. I just don't want it to disappear. That's pretty cool though. Big iron cross. part of the wreath literally just grew, the tree grew around it, the wires like in the tree. I don't do this every year, but I try and come up when I can. And I usually hide this from my daughter, even though we have come out here once. But I just thought it was suiting today because I got a Yamaha again. And he passed away in a Yamaha. He was driving, it's kind of ironic because he, when I was a baby, the chopper that he built when he was younger got stolen, and he didn't ride again until I was like 17 or 18. My stepmom's father had a mid-70s Yamaha XS 650, and I remember seeing that bike all the time. Every other weekend I saw that bike in her basement. It was underneath the basement steps because she had a walkout basement, and that's where it was covered up, and that's where it stayed. And I always looked at it. I always looked at it when I was younger. I was like, man, that's cool. She's got a motorcycle in her basement. But you can't, that was one of the things, you don't go near it, don't touch it. That was her father's. Her father passed away, and that's just where it's at. And one day my dad asked her, he's like, well, you know, what do you think about me, you know, fixing up your dad's bike and getting it running? She was kind of hesitant, you know, and he coaxed her into it, and she's like, yeah, go ahead. And I remember stopping over his house one day, and he was working on the carbs, and I was telling him stuff he already knew, but he didn't, you know, he just let it go, like, you know something. And that's what he passed away on. Father's Day, you know, a week before Father's Day or so. Week before Father's Day, I got a hold of him, and I said, hey, I got an idea. And he's like, what's up? I said, I got my permit. I got my motorcycle permit. You know, I can't ride my bike, which was the Honda. I said, it's got charging issues. I was like, but if I can get a bike, do you want to go for a ride for Father's Day? And he's like, you know what, maybe, you know, I'll let you know. He's like, maybe, I don't think anything else is going on that day. You know, maybe we will. He's like, you know, let me know if you can get a bike. I was like, all right, well, I'll ask my Uncle Roy if I can borrow his Shadow 1100. He's like, well, do you think you can handle that bike? It's a big bike. I said, I ride it all the time. I only ride it in Grassville, you know. And I think I'll be perfectly fine with it. He's like, all right, well, let me know if you can get the bike. I'm like, okay. So I called my Uncle Roy, and I said, I have a favor to ask you, and I don't usually ask anybody for favors, especially you. And he's like, what's up? And I'm like, well, my dad got a bike, and he's riding on the street again, and I just got my permit, but my bike isn't, you know, the battery dies every, like, I can't ride for more than like 15 or 20 minutes. If I shut the bike off, it kills the battery, and I've been trying to work on it for a year, and I can't fix it. I want to know if I can borrow your bike and go for a ride with my dad. And he's like, I don't know, Joey, it's a big bike, and you know, it's kind of a lot to handle. And I'm like, you don't have to if you don't want to. I was like, but I'll honestly tell you that I feel comfortable on it, and I think I'd be perfectly fine with it. I'm not gonna horse on it. I just want to go cruising with Dad. And he's like, I don't know, Joe. He's like, let me think about it. He's like, it's it was his only form of transportation, I believe, at the time. I don't even remember him having a car at the time. And I was like, if you don't want to, that's fine. I just thought it would be a good idea. He's like, all right. He's like, I'll let you know. I'm like, all right. He ends up calling me back. I don't know how long it was, but he called me back, and he's like, I'll let you take it. He's like, but you got to be careful. I was like, I'll be careful, I promise. I said, I'll even fill it back up for you. He's like, okay. He's like, I really don't want to do this, but he's like, I'm trusting you. I'm like, okay. I said, thank you. And that's the only thing I really ever asked of my uncle. And granted, I never asked to borrow anybody's vehicle up until then, And he goes, well, what's the plan? I was like, well, I gotta call my dad back and let him know that, I got a bike. I said, well, figure out where you're gonna be and where the bike's gonna be, and I'll get there one way or another. He's like, okay. So I called my dad back. I said, I got a bike. I said, my Uncle Roy's gonna let me borrow it. But I think he usually keeps it at my grandmother's house. He's like, all right, well, he's like, I'll pick you up on the Yamaha at your mom's, and he's like, we'll go out to your grandmother's house, which isn't far away, a few miles or whatever, and we'll pick up the bike and we'll go for a ride. I'm like, all right, sweet. Like, yeah, this is gonna be fucking awesome. My first ride, my first legal ride on the street, the first time I was ever taking a motorcycle out on the street, which I've wanted to do since I was a kid. Literally, I've been thinking about motorcycles for probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years at that point, and I've been riding motorcycles for close to 5. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, we're gonna go for a cruise. I don't even care if we go out for like an hour or whatever. So he picked me up. It was Father's Day. He calls me, he picks me up, and got on the back of his little XS 650 and had a little sissy bar on it. I gotta go right here. And we cruise out to my grandmother's house. He's like, you sure you got it? I said, I got it. Don't worry about it. My uncle's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. I said, all right, have fun. So we leave my grandmother's house, and Dad's like, you ready? I was like, let's go. We pull out, cruise into Hilton from Greece, border Greece and Hilton. And where we go, man? Went down North Greece Road, went all the way to the high school. He's like, all right. He's like, I want to see some figure eights. He's like, I want to see what you got. I'm like, all right. So, New York State road test. 2 left-hand circles, 2 right-hand circles, 2 figure eights. Go, stop. Keep your feet on the pegs. Got to show control. I had all that. I was like, I've already done all this, man. I was like, can we just go? He's like, yeah, looks like you're doing fine. Let's go. He's like, where do you want to go? I said, I don't know. So we stop over at my buddy's house. He's like, yeah, sure. So we freaking fly from Hilton. We cruise out to my buddy's house up here, Lawrence Road. We stop over there. Adam is home. His dad's house. And what's going on? So now I'm out with my dad. The first time I've been out, I just wanted to stop by because Adam used to have it was like a CB 350 or a 360, and it had a freaking long chopper front end on it. Frame wasn't done, but it had a stupid long front end on it, and we just take it out to the road and do burnouts with it and just cruise around everywhere. The thing wasn't registered. We were underage. We didn't give a shit. Just cruising around, banging gears, burning tires, being kids. Stopped over at his house and said hi, and he's like, all right, man, sun's going down, I got a ride. He's like, all right, man, I'll catch you later. So we cruise from his house all the way down this road. This is his road, Lawrence Road, and all the way to Route 19 that I was just on the left, and we passed the road that my father would eventually get hit on a month later. cruised all the way around down Route 19, went into Avon. I think it was Avon. And we stopped at a bar. And for one, I was 18 years old. You know, I'm not going to drink. My dad was never really a drinker. If he drank anything at all, even at like friends gatherings or stuff like that, like he wasn't even a social drinker. If he had anything, he had one Budweiser. That's all he would have. That would be it. So we went to this bar and we had one beer and we stopped and we just enjoyed, you know, comfortable silence, small talk, and got on the bikes and we cruised back. Went down Route 19 right to Ridge Road. Adam's house right there. Adam's parents' house. We went down Route 19, hit Ridge Road, right where I had initially turned in the first part of the video. And went down Ridge Road, you know, took some side roads, dropped my uncle's bike off at my grandmother's house again. And I want to say that's where I had my ride, because I don't remember him bringing me back to my mom's. Bringing me back there, although it could have happened a long time ago. But yeah, that was something I'm never gonna forget. Kind of a surreal thing, you know. You grow up thinking about motorcycles 24 hours a day, riding dirt bikes, and see motorcycles on the road. You hear a motorcycle when you're in the car when you're a kid, knowing that your dad had one at one point. And just when you get started, it ends. It's absolutely crazy. It fucking blows my mind every time. And to cap all that off, all of it, every bit of it, I put my bike on the road, and I had nothing but issues with it. And I don't know if it was because I'm not superstitious, man. I'm really not. I don't have too many things that follow me, but there's certain things that have happened in my life that, you know, I felt has kind of steered me in a certain direction, and for certain reason, or whatever those reasons are, I don't know, but I don't argue with it. After my dad hit and passed away, that was a Tuesday. I was supposed to put my bike on the road that Thursday. 2 days later, I'm standing at my father's funeral, and the only thing I think about was my motorcycle. I literally just lost my dad to a motorcycle accident, and all I could think about was my bike. Like I had to finish something. Like something was telling me just because this happened doesn't mean you need to stop. And I don't know if it just fell out of my mouth or what. I was like, yeah, everybody's like, oh, I got work this week, or oh, I got stuff this weekend, whatever. I was like, yeah, I got things to do. I got some work, and then I got to go to the DMV. They're like, what are you going to DMV for? I was like, I'm supposed to put my bike on the road on Thursday. And they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, what? No, don't say that around your mother, or don't say that around anybody else. You're not putting your bike on the road. I'm like, since when? They're like, your father just passed away, and you're going to put your bike on the road the same week? It's enough or nothing. I said, if you think that's going to stop me from riding, you got another thing coming. They're like, Jesus Christ, Joe, if you're probably going to go behind our backs and do it anyways, but at least wait, just give it some time. If it's not going to be for your sake, for somebody else's. And I was pissed. I was really pissed, because I felt like nothing was going to stop me from putting that bike on the road that week. And I waited a week. I waited 1 week. Went to the DMV, got my plate. Got my insurance, went to the DMV, got my plate. Put my bike on the road. And some people didn't like me for that. but that was okay. I took my time and kind of tried to find people to ride with, because, you know, I just couldn't go and just do whatever, you know, because I had charging problems with it. Tried to do what I could with it, and I obviously couldn't go far because I didn't know enough on how to fix that bike. Even though I had the manual, I wasn't really inclined to, you know, take that motor apart. I just didn't want to do it. It was just goofy looking to me, and I just didn't want to deal with it. We rode right through here. So I ended up parking that thing, and I sold it, and then I got my first Yamaha FZR 600. Boy, was that thing a trip. I knew the bike had been beat on, but it was fast. It was a sport bike, you know, 600cc 4-cylinder. That's what I wanted. I didn't know enough to, you know, what the other bikes who were around me were like. I didn't care. I got a sport bike, you know, kid. I was like, shit, I think I was like 19 or 20. And conjured up some money for it. I was a little short. We had, you know, I couldn't wait till payday. I was picking it up before payday. My grandfather's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm supposed to go buy this bike today, but... And I had just been over there. I didn't even ask him. I didn't ask my grandfather for money. He goes, what do you need? I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I told him I was short, you know, a check. Maybe it was a check or two. Maybe it was 2 checks, 2 paychecks. I was putting everything I had in just getting this bike. The guy wanted $2,500 for it. So I was like, I don't know, I think I was like, I can't remember, I was like maybe $750 short, $1,000 short, or whatever it was. So I go, when were you supposed to get it? It was like, I think it was either that day or the next day. He's like, oh, alright, well, is it like a good bike? I was like, yeah. And I went and checked it out. It was like, he only wants $2,500 for it, and I got X amount of dollars. I think I needed like $750. I go. My grandfather goes in the house and comes out with $750. Gave me the money right then and there. He's like, go get it. I'm like, really? He's like, go get it. Then you're back going to get the money. He's like, he's waiting for your paychecks, right? I said, yeah. He's like, well, go get it. I'm like, oh shit. I hooked up the trailer to my car. I had an 83 Cutlass Supreme, you know, 4-door Rome. Hooked up the trailer. Fucking went and got that bike. First thing I did is I went home. I didn't even tell my mother I was going to buy a bike. She comes out to the parking lot. She saw me pull in the parking lot with a trailer and a motorcycle. She fucking ran out of her apartment. She's like, what's that? I said, it's a motorcycle. She's like, whose is it? I said, it's mine. She's like, what? I said, yeah, I just, like, literally just bought it up the street. She fucking cried. She literally cried right there. I said, Ma, don't worry about it. She's like, I'm not losing you too. I said, Ma, I'm doing this with or without you. I'm fine. She just went in the house and cried. And it didn't faze me. It didn't. I felt bad, but it didn't even faze me. It really didn't. And I rode that bike, and I tore it down, and I built it. And I rode it, and I tore it down, and I built it. I even at one point didn't even think about what I was doing. I had a 2-bedroom apartment that I shared with 2 girls, and I had my frame on the kitchen table, on a separate kitchen table, 2 kitchen tables, and I polished that frame by hand in my apartment on the 2nd story. I had the front end, I had the back end, I had the wheels, I had the fucking motor in there, I had my whole motorcycle in my 2nd story bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment. Never thought that, never even crossed my mind that my dad had did the same thing with one of his first bikes. Didn't even think about it. But I did it. I built that bike from the ground up. Painted it, polished the frame. It was a steel frame. I polished the steel because that's what I wanted. Built that whole bike up, rode it, tore it back down, did it again, blew it up, put a different motor in it. I had that bike up until, you know, just when I was finished building it for the last time. I met my wife, and my wife got pregnant. Found out we were having a girl. Yeah, I'm gonna be a dad. And I'm riding. And I said, I just gotta keep it on 2. I just gotta keep it on 2. I gotta look around like everybody on this road's gonna hit me, and that's how I ride. I don't look at my speedometer ever. I look around like everybody's gonna hit me, and that's how I've ridden since the day my dad got hit. When I was riding with my dad, I didn't think about anything else. I was focused on, you know, the road, the controls, and I was riding with him. That's all I cared about. That's all I was focused on. After that, you got these cages. You got everybody in cages. That one, this one, that one. Those two, like anybody could veer off and hit you at any time. I don't care how fast I'm going. I don't care how slow I'm going. I kind of honed every ability that I had as a motorcycle rider since that day to react and ride like everybody's going to hit me. And I'm not saying I'm cautious. I'm not just saying I'm cautious. Because trust me, I get on it and I ride these bikes the way they're meant to be ridden sometimes. I don't ride like that all the time. But I have this thing in the back of my head, and I think all the time, like, you know, scenarios. This guy's going to blow the stop sign. This one's going to stop instead of turn. Somebody's going to pull out of a driveway. Just like any other, you know, motorcycle rider should ride. But it got to the point where, you know, my wife's like, you know, 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant. Getting to be 9 months pregnant. You know, it's getting close. And she knew that I used to ride on Father's Day every year. I try to get out. She's like, you know, it was Father's Day. It's in the morning. She's like, why don't you go for a ride? I was like, no, because the night before we had gone out and she was having, you know, pains. You know, the night before I was watching the baby kick. She was like, baby's just rolling around. Kids doing somersaults on her stomach. I'm watching her stomach like, do all this crazy stuff, you know. I had a feeling something was going to happen. And the very next day was Father's Day. She's like, go for a ride. You need it. Just go and clear your head. She's like, just go for an hour. I'm like, you know what? I said, something's telling me not to. I don't want to, and I go by that. I go by that sense. If something tells me not to do it, I don't care what it is, I don't do it. If something tells me to do it, I do it. I said, no, I don't want to. I said, I was just joking. I said, my luck, I'm going to get out on this bike. You're going to go into labor. I'm not even going to know about it. I said, I can't. I'm not. I said, well, just hang out. I just want to make sure you're okay. Don't you know, sure as shit, my daughter was born on Father's Day, June 15th, 2008. 10 years to the day after the last time I saw my father alive. 10 years to the day. I spent my day in the hospital looking at my daughter's face for the first time. That was the best Father's gift I ever had, next to riding with my dad. Absolutely mind-blowing for me, just the way like certain things line up. First day legal on the road. I wanted to ride motorcycles on the street I can't say my whole life, probably 8 years prior to, you know, being 18, since I was 10 years old. So I was 10 years old, I wanted to ride on the street. Every time I saw a motorcycle, I wanted to ride. Dirt bikes, didn't care. Street bikes, didn't care. 18 years old on Father's Day. First time I rode on the street legally with a badass fucking Shadow 1100, super clean, black. Everything was black and chrome, silver wheels. I rode with my dad for the first time, which I always wanted to do because he always talked about motorcycles when I was younger. I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. I got my license. I'm going to get my license. I got my permit. I'm going to get my license. You know, I'm going to get a motorcycle that, you know, can run, because I had the one that didn't want to run. I said, me and my dad are going to ride all the time. We rode together one time. And I guess, thinking about it now, it was kind of like something that I feel like it's something that I had to have. And I feel like something was kind of holding off. I think my dad's passing was holding off until I had that moment. I don't know. Call me superstitious, but I feel like there was that point where there had to be that connection before he went. For both of us, for that matter, you know. For both of us, because that was like it's like a perfect father-son moment, you know what I mean? So I mean, we did that. We had that. We rode for a couple hours, 2.5 hours. Went for a nice cruise, nothing crazy. Picked on him a little bit because he stalled a couple times. You know, busting chops, had some smiles, had some laughs. He dropped me off, and that was the last time. That was the last time I saw him. I did talk to him over the phone one more time. Maybe it was about 2 weeks later. I wanted to try and do that again. And he's like, "Well," "we'll figure out a time." He's like, "We'll go out again." I'm like, "All right." And it just never happened. It was the last time I actually talked to him. Was on the phone at my girlfriend's house. But it was just, I don't know. So that's the reason I go out on Father's Day, is, you know, to kind of do a ride for him and I, and just to, you know, think about my dad a little bit. I think about him all the time, you know, but this kind of day is, it's different. It's different. I didn't mean for this video to be a sobby, you know, sad story, but I don't know. I feel like I had to do it at some point. But like I said before, I hope all the fathers out there had a good day today with your kids and your father, if he's still around. And it's an absolutely beautiful day. So I hope everything went as planned for you guys. And hopefully next week will be a little bit better video. I have a little bit more supermoto action in here. I know the weather's going to be kind of iffy on and off. Not with temperature, but it's supposed to be shitty rain, so it's kind of, it's going to be kind of iffy. But I hope you guys enjoyed your Father's Day. I hope you guys had a good week. And if you guys want to see more riding content, more vlogs, or tell me what you want to see, I can get a chain and get the dirt wheels on the KTM and do a little bit of off-road if you want to see that kind of stuff. But please let me know, leave me a comment, and give me a thumbs up. You don't have to share this video if you don't want to. I totally understand, because it's kind of personal. Not a lot of people want to hear that kind of stuff. But I appreciate the new followers and everybody, and I'll see you here soon with another clip. Peace.